Well, good morning. It's been cold. Gotta go poop. Nothing's open, so I have to go dig a hole. Bury it. Big no-no, but when you have no other choice. We've got one day, then they're supposed to come check this place out and give tickets. Cite people, attack people for allowing me to stay here. Then they're gonna take the van. With all my kids' stuff in it, my stuff, my house, my life, what's left of it. All gone. Again. At 50. My friend is trying to explain why him choosing drugs over me is his dad's fault. While he's on drugs, probably. I'm freezing, and I can't stay with him because he basically, his dad knows that he's doing drugs. But he doesn't know what to do about it because that makes him a failure as a father. After all this, his favorite little treasured son is a druggie. He's like, no, but it's not so bad. It must be the black guy who did all the cooking and cleaning and organizing in the house to make this work. While my son was, being kind of privileged and enjoying life and doing what he wanted to do, but not what he didn't. All the stuff he didn't want to do, I went and did it. I cleaned the house. I organized all the rooms, all the stuff. They moved the house. I helped him move. I saved his dad's life when he was choking to death. I made healthy as a trained chef for cancer patients. That usually gets paid $60 an hour. I just cooked for free, made very healthy food that was organic, bought the food myself. And because my friend, I confronted him and said, hey, you can't be doing this right now. You're gonna mess everything up. You're going through stuff that you can't be doing drugs while you're, you wanna smoke a little weed or something, that's fine, but you can't be addicted to meth or heroin or ketamine or, something that, a serious, that you can do or whatever. Magican? Maybe. So anyways. He's trying to keep me as a friend because I'm his only real friend. He's got friends. He's got acquaintances. Got people that care about him. Got family. But very few people that will sit down with him and listen to him give his opinions and then give a critique and respond as an equal. I mean, older, I'm his elder by about 20 years, but so I can give him like big brotherly. His big brother is like, in a relationship, someone's doing hard, doing all these guys of things. So for the last 10 years, I've been basically mentoring this young man and giving him the opportunity to basically feel like he's running it. It's all on his time. Whenever he wants, he can come over, he can come hang out, but there's certain rules, I'm not going to hang out with you if you're going to be on drugs or high or drunk or, too fucked up. I'll hang out with you you've been drinking a little bit and we're hanging out. Cool, okay. You bust out that bottle at my house, I'll be like, get that shit out of my house. Now, please. Or you get out and take it with you. Some people were offended. Most people got it though. They understood because I was clear when they came in. I was like, this is not a thing I allow in my household. So. And I think we made a lot of progress in a lot of ways, but for him it became a didactic instead of a learning experience in the way it kind of should have been. He did learn things. He's still engaged. But it became a challenge for him he started to compete with this idea of me instead of learn from it. So he was learning from it to beat it. He thought he could work it out. Now that's that's not effective. The problem is, it's like me going into a game where I don't know what the context is. I don't understand the rules. I know some of them. I know the basics, but there's a bunch of hidden ones that you learn as you go through the game. By going through mini quests. And you haven't done any of the mini quests yet. You did a couple, but not, there's a whole bunch. So basically it's like that as a metaphor. And this mini quest, for me, is him. He's one of my mini quests. And if I can help this young man, that came into my life, that was friendly and means well, and is trying to do his best, okay. That's a nice thing. If I can help out, I'll fill in for his brother, I'll fill in for his dad, the father figure-y elder, but that's not just already taking you for granted, mansplaining. So I could mansplain him, but I could be like, yo, here's my take on the thing. Now I'm trying to give him insight into be careful of these hubrises, these dangers in your life. If you look at it from where you're at and you don't see the consequences in the same way I've seen them. And I've seen those consequences play out in minutia. So a drug problem, yeah, that's a thing. But most people think about it and they go, oh, that poor person who has the drug problem, right? Or their family, right? The problem isn't the drug, it's the person. But there's a predispositional personality weakness that lends itself to drug usage. It's not genetic, it's attitude. It's how you look at the world. And if you think taking shortcuts can help you, because you don't understand the price, which is eternal hunger, basically. So, bad trade, right? I gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today, and it never gets to be Tuesday. Because every time you do a drug that you're doing on a regular, it depletes your body adapts to it, and then it ceases to be something that's new and interesting, wondrous in the same way the second time. And then the third time, that recovery's a little harsher, and the experience a little more you know what I mean? So that process with anything, that's an extreme. That's what the extremes that are medicines or poisons. And poisons don't necessarily kill you. Poisons are things that inhibit your ability to function as a living person also. So basically what makes a thing a poison is that it gives you an unfair trade. It gives you something that feels really good. Your like serotonin, your dopamine, boom. Rush, you feel great. You're like, oh, I feel great for like 8 hours. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't even have to try. Now the problem with that is you stop trying because you got something you can do it with. So you just, those muscles get weak and flaccid. Your emotional muscles, your willpower muscles. Because your shortcut, that's the real problem with drugs. And additionally, when a drug puts a bunch of serotonin or dopamine into your brain, your brain and your body, the first thing it does is go, holy shit, we've got way too much dopamine in our system. Okay, quick. Start closing off dopamine receptors and flushing dopamine out of the system, and don't generate anymore until we come back to a balance. If you keep doing the drug, your body stops generating the happiness in its own physiology and chemistry, and you have to retrain it afterwards. Literally. By not doing drugs, which now if you've done them enough to really fuck up your dopamine, that's not an easy thing to do. Now you've doubled down so many times. Why not just one more? It's just, I did 65 times. What's 66? The first time you're like, ooh, that's a big commitment. I don't know, maybe not this time. I don't know. I don't smoke cigarettes. Thanks for the offer. After you've had a cigarette or two, you get to a certain point, you're like, oh, I'm a smoker. Oh shit, I can't go back. Now this is a thing. I have a relationship with this spirit, and I can't just be like, nah, I don't wanna. Oh shit, that's a moment, dude. Because you realize you're not the master of your own fucking willpower. And if you accept that, you get dominated by an object, by a spirit, by a thing that doesn't move. But it owns you. It's stronger than you. It can make you kiss it every day 15 times and pay money to do it. It's like a prostitute, but you can parse it out a little bit. I mean, metaphorically speaking, depending on your attitude. So if I smoke lasciviously, if I'm like, ugh, oh yeah, fuck yeah, and it's that kind of a thing for me, right? Theoretically speaking, then, right, that's a spirit. There's something it's it's drawing out of me a certain spirit. It's affecting a certain spirit in me. So like if I smoke and I'm like, sacred respect, I'm not trying to abuse you to pleasure myself. I'm concerned about you all, like, first. Being considerate of you as a thing that I'm bringing into my life and that I have a relationship with. That's the fundament of my understanding of how I gauge spiritual efficacy. It's a term I kind of came up with. It's the closest I can get to like what we're talking about. When we're talking about things like how to be a better person, you know, like, am I really ethical? Are my principles consistent? Are my standards consistent? Are my ethics consistent? Am I a hypocrite? Do I have double standards? That's what I'm checking for. Because if I have double standards, I'm not with God. Because God is a unity. Whatever the rules are, if they don't apply to me too, then I'm a hypocrite. I'm not worthy of heaven. Already, just by that. So for me, I gotta go, okay, if this is God's thing, or this is all one thing and we're all together God, or whatever it is, that there's some fairness in the thing that's built in to the framework. Now we get to faith. Because I don't know. There's no way to know for sure what any of this is. All I can know is that there are things happening, and then I respond as an individual. And my response is the one I'm going to get graded on. When I'm dying and looking back on my life and checking to see if I was a hypocrite, or if I was full of shit, or if I was for real. Because that's when it counts. Up until then, people all have opinions about lots of stuff. Everybody has ideas about this, that, and the other thing. You think God gives a shit what your neighbor thinks? Sorry, my neighbor said, you know what, God, killing's okay today, so I'm gonna have a hamburger. But that's murder. Murder's against the Bible. You're like, well, this isn't technically murder. We've classified this living being as non-human, and murder technically is only humans. God. Oh, you're gonna tell God that? I'm sure the universe is gonna be like, oh, sorry, our bad. No longer a sin, just for you. We're gonna be like, you know what, that one's okay. We're gonna give you a pass on that. I don't think it works like that. If those rules and laws aren't for real, our whole thing is fucking bullshit. This is hell. So I don't see why you want to get all up in it in the first place. You want to get through it and maintain your integrity if you're in hell. You don't want to stop and then get a job and then stay there. But everybody stopped and got a job because they figured this is all there is. It's not. This is prep. After this, you get to go to the end part where you get people to help you because you can't walk anymore. And then it hurts now when I go to the bathroom. Oh gosh, my back, when I get up in the morning, I can't even really get up anymore. This is really painful. Oh gosh. Okay, so I can't force people to do things anymore. And I'm not making a living. I'm basically a homeless person with family. Can't take care, or someone who got injured. and they're with their family, and the family takes care of them. But you can't do anything without help. You'll just die. Now that gives you some time to think, because most of the people around you are like trying to avoid you, because they don't want to watch you crumble into like something that then, for someone who's clinging to life is like a cool thing, that can be very depressing, depending on what you think is next. So if you have faith, that next is basically this without a body. So all you got to keep is your ideas, how you feel, but not your body feeling, your emotional feelings, your predispositions, your ethics, your idea. That creates a harmonic. Each one's unique. All of them are within a layered set of fields, sort of, that stack on each other. So it's kind of like why a thought or an emotion can exist anywhere on the planet, anywhere in the universe. It's a different class of thing than physical. It's everywhere. It doesn't need to be moved to get to it.